Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I have a really fun project today. We are making little treat boxes. I'm using a little bit of this Magic World Harry Potter themed paper from Pixie Dust Designs. I have another project later in the month that I'll use the paper for. And then we are using the Ron mug, the Girl Wizard mug, and then the little treat box here from the Shake Her Birthday Cupcake. I think it's going to turn out really cute. I'm very excited about it. I even ordered little birdies, those jelly beans, to put into the treat boxes. So let's get started on our project. To get started, I cut the hair out. So this is Ron's hair, and I cut it out of Yellow Jacket from Discount Cardstock, and I colored it with my Copic marker Y38. And now I'm going over with my darkest, which is E39, and then I'll also use E07 and E09, and I have it written on my scrap paper there as well. So I'm just flicking, nothing fancy, just doing flicks all around, and now I'm going to blend it out a little further using the I believe that's the E09, yeah. So I'm just blending those flicks out, and then I will go over everything with the lightest color. So it kind of gives you a reddish orange hair color. I really liked how it turned out. So just more flicking and just kind of going over everything. Leaving some highlights in there. Yeah, just like that. There you go. Ron's hair. Now we're doing Hermione's hair, or the Girl Wizard. And so I cut that out of a neutral cardstock that I had scraps of. And I colored the whole thing with, I'm trying to remember my colors now, I believe E33. And then I'm coming in with E79, that's my darkest, to do the low lights. And now I've got the E39, and I'm blending out the darkest. This is how you do it when you don't have a ton of cardstock. You just color in your cardstock. And now I'm using E37 to blend out the E39, and then I'll use E35 as well. So just doing some quick flicking, nothing fancy. There are lines on the hair, and so I'm blending this all back out again with the E35. So there's lines on that die cut, so you know where to put your low lights. So it's such a good die. And there's 3 parts to the hair, using the same Copic colors, by the way, on this. There's 3 parts to the hair. So I was just using the top layer to trace where the darker hair would be, adding darker hair around her face frame and along the part. So just really quick, easy coloring. And a lot of this is going to be colored, so I'm not coloring covered. A lot of the darker hair will be covered by the lighter hair. Wanted to give her kind of caramel highlights. So now I'm coloring the mugs. It's cut out of that same neutral paper. And so I'm taking the skin it says E03, but I think I grabbed E00 by mistake. I'm not even sure. It might be E03. So on the skin, I used my Copic markers E03, E000, E11, and E13. So we're starting with the base. And then we'll just do darkening all around and leave the middle of the face really light. So I've got Ron's hair on, so I'm kind of figuring out where the shadows would be and all of that. So now I'm just flicking up from the bottom, which I really did not need to do, but I was just flicking because that's what I was doing earlier. And I was still in the habit. But you'll see later on with Ron's mug, I just stopped doing that. So I want to make sure I had the hair on straight. And now I'm coming in with my marker and coloring in the shadows. And this is the E11 that I'm using on this part. So now I'm going to come in with the E13. And I suddenly realize I don't need the hair anymore. I had marks on there already, so I'll move the hair. So getting some nice dark shadows around his face, and then we'll go around it to smooth it out. So now I'm back to the E11. And then I'll go over it again with the E03, doing some shading. And then I come in with the E000 after this and go over everything. Just get it a nice blend. And I don't need to stay in the lines because his hair is going to be over it and his scarf is going to be under his chin. So just wrote that down. So I did the same thing with Hermione. All right, so now we're coloring Ron's eyes, and I'm just doing a blue for him. So it's E24. And the eyes are great. On Ron, they get a white piece and a blue piece, or whatever color you decide to make his eyes. So you just glue the blue on top of the white, and you've got a darling eye. And there are embossed lines on the mug face as to where to put the eyes for the best look. You can move them if you want, but it really is for the best look. Put them where the embossed line is. So glued the eyes together, and then just to finish it up, I always go around the edges so that no white shows, and just cover that up with the marker. And now the lips for both of them, I used RV23 to color the lips. So you can see I've got Hermione ready to go. So now there's her scarf. And you've got the base piece and then the layering. Sorry, I go out of frame a lot. The layering piece. So you just glue the layering piece on the base piece, and you've got a nice striped scarf and mug handle. So now we're going to work on her eyes and hair and eyebrows. Basically her assembling Hermione. So the mug is great. It does come with like a coffee you can put on top of the hair, so it looks like there's coffee in the mug if you want. And you could use that and to cut a slit so that you could tuck like wands and things in there too if you wanted to do, you know, that kind of mug. So assembling, so the eyes are cute because this has three pieces. You've got the base layer, which is an eye with eyelashes, and then you've got the white part of the eye, and then you've got the iris part of the eye. So it's really cute how that is created. So now I've got the mug handle on, added the scarf, and now we're going to put the hair together. So I'm taking the caramel highlights, putting it over her brunette hair, and then there's a little bit of a bang feature that comes with it too. So have that ready and attaching that. And now I'm adding the whites of the eye to the eyelashes. So her eyes are definitely a lot more feminine than Ron's eyes are. And again, there's the embossed lines for the eyes, so you know exactly where to put them. Isn't that cute? I think she turned out so great. And this is her wand, and I ended up not having the wand in the photos, but look at how awesome her wand is. So you've got the base layer, then you've got the fancy add-on for her wand. It turns out great. So we will add her hair. And there is Hermione. Okay, so now we're going to assemble Ron, pretty much the same thing. You've got the base layer for the mug handle, and then the top layer to add the stripes, and then the scarf too. Same thing, you've got the base layer and then the top layer so that you're adding stripes. And so he has a little tie on the end of his scarf to add on. So I'm doing that as well. So his mug design came with ears. So I put the handle on first, and then I put the ear over it so that the ear shows forward, and I'll color his ears in a little bit so they match his skin tone. But just wanted to make sure they were in front of the mug handle and not behind it. Looks like I colored the ears off camera. So now we're adding his hair, and now we'll add his eyebrows. And I put one eyebrow in his hair because it was so, I put his hair so low, and it's kind of fun. Just getting everything lined up, and then again, the embossed lines for the eyes and the embossed lines for the mouth. So there is our Ron, and that's his wand. And it comes in 3 pieces. So you've got the 2 broken pieces and then the tape to hold the broken pieces together. So now we will add his scarf, and then the mug fronts are done. But we're making these into little treat cups. Oh, coloring his little wand there. So there they are with their wands, giving them a little bit of a rosy cheek on Hermione. So this is the treat boxes. And they're really cute. And I did take some of that Harry Potter paper. And the mug, this what I'm using right here, putting glue on, I'm going to put that paper on so that the top of the box is decorated. On Ron's, I cut off the top flat, so it's an open mug. But on Hermione's, I wanted to show you a closed mug. And this is from the Shaker Birthday Cupcake set. That's where my treat box came from. I know there's another one for the mug sets, but I don't own it. And this worked just fine. So I cut out an additional mug just to place it on back, just trying to line up the front and the back together. And then doing the same thing for Ron, just showing I cut off the top flap and I'm just making it an open mug for Ron. Sorry about my head. All right. Okay, so here are our adorable treat boxes, and Ron's I left open, and then Hermione's I left the lid on with the decorative paper, and they sit nice. Oops, I gotta trim Ron's down a little bit. But I also made their wands, which I think are so cool. Can you see the detail on Hermione's, and then Ron's is all bandaged together. So cool with the detail. And again, I use this wonderful paper set, which I'll be using a lot more of, Magic World. And then I used the Ron mug, the Girl Wizard mug, and then the Shaker Birthday Cupcake, just the treat box portion. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.